first to Victoria, where floods have now swept through almost a third of the state and possibly claimed the life of a 7-year-old boy. Emergency crews have spent several hours searching for the child who disappeared while swimming in a flooded billabong near Shepparton. Meantime, the town of Horsham in the central west is bracing for the worst flooding in a century. The Wimmera River is expected to peak in the next 24 hours and more than 100 homes have been evacuated. Lisa Whitehead reports.
The amount of water came down that river there that European settlement hasn't seen, right through central Victoria, with all those main rivers all flooding at the one time.
It's incredibly confronting, and on the ground, in the aftermath, it's incredibly distressing.
No one really knows how bad this will get or how much damage will be done, but the floods are already being labelled the worst in Victoria's recorded history.
Every farm dam is full, every reservoir is full, and there are just enormous sheets of water moving down rivers, kilometres and kilometres wide.
It's the result of record rainfall from the centre across to the west and up to the state's north.
Of course, we've seen quite severe flooding in Victoria, communities right across Victoria that are facing some of the worst flooding that they've ever seen.
Prime Minister Julia Gillard has travelled to Echuca on the Murray River, where the flooding proved less severe than predicted, but still left a trail of damage.
I was told that by the owner who'd lived here for many generations that it had never flooded.
The river's broken out and come around, and the hay's come off the paddock and smashed into the vans, and we've got a swamp on our farm that Dad talked about filling up, and the water ran uphill and run out like a rapid down the other side, and to see that volume of water, it's just been totally amazing, yeah.
The people of Bridgewater, a few hours' drive north of Melbourne, are cleaning up and assessing their losses after floodwaters swamped the town. 200,000 megalitres, 5 times the trigger for a flood alert, came down the Loddon River on Friday. There's a trail of damaged properties and ruined crops, raising the question, could anything have been done to protect the dozens of communities in the path of these floodwaters?
People may think that we could have done more, but we don't know what we could have done more.
We need to understand that Victoria's had an extraordinary run of rainfall in the last 4 or 5 months, and that itself is having an impact, and that makes mitigation that much harder. But there may well be local works that can be done, and if that's possible and appropriate, then we'll certainly give that serious consideration.
We've come to help.
Because it's not over yet. Next to face what's predicted to be their worst flood ever are the people of Horsham in the west. They're busy doing what they can to stave off the rising Wimmera River.
If it doesn't go any higher than that, I'll do it easy. If it goes to there, I might be a bit hard.
Scenes like this are being repeated all over Horsham today as locals band together to help each other protect homes and businesses from rising floodwaters. And by tomorrow, if the predictions are correct, the floodwaters will reach this height. There's been nothing like it in living memory. The Wimmera River is expected to peak at 3.85 metres overnight, a 1 in 200 year event.
This flood water is right through all the drainage system underneath the town. So all the stormwater drains are full of flood water. If we actually have a serious rain event that came along here, that water has nowhere to go. It will only fill up all the roads and create a lot of inconvenience and a lot of more isolation.
Bernadette Lakin and her son Dean are anxiously watching the water levels rise. Her house is just metres from the water's edge, and they've been busy sandbagging and moving her household possessions to higher ground.
Again, we've had a 10-year drought, and now we've had floods in a few months. It's unreal, really. And all our lakes were all empty. Now there's nowhere for any water to go because they're all full. So it's ridiculous, isn't it?
The Lakins aren't sure if they'll be covered by insurance.
I'll have to find all that out, really. But, yeah, there's a lot of us are going to be in a lot of trouble, I think.
While the Victorian flood victims are set to face the same battles on that issue as those in Queensland, the disaster scenarios are very different. While the people of Horsham have an anxious wait ahead of them, the atmosphere here is calm and people have had time to prepare.
This is really serious at our level, there's no question about that. But if put into this perspective of the lives lost in the Queensland floods and the massive damage to their infrastructure and the whole life.
In comparison, this is a very controlled environment. We know what's happening, and we are hoping not for any of that flash flooding, which is obviously devastating for communities.
350 people in low-lying areas of Horsham have been alerted to evacuate, as the river is expected to almost reach its peak tonight and the high water levels will continue until Wednesday. The town will be split in two by the floodwaters and 580 properties are expected to see water over the floor level.
Lisa Whitehead with that report.